Okay, so the lesson that we're going to discuss for this meeting is the topic ethical standards in writing the review of related literature. So I think last time we discussed the topic research introduction and how to make your research introduction or the background of the study. So this time we're going to discuss how we're going to write or the technicalities of review related literature. Although we already discussed this one, what are the principles, what are the concepts that you need to follow when it comes to writing the review of related literature, but this time, what are the ethical standards or what's the proper way of writing your RRL? So lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students can identify research ethics, why proper citation matters, describe plagiarism and its various forms, and illustrate citation styles such as APA, MLA, and Chicago or Turabian. Okay, so basically the concepts that we're going to deal with this lesson are the proper way of writing your research, which is through citations. Or how are you going to properly write the sources and references in your research paper? And what are the forms of writing practices that you should avoid, which I'm talking about plagiarism. And of course, the different citation styles, the APA, MLA, and Chicago Turabian. So in our case, we use APA or the American Psychological Association, but I'll just discuss this MLA in Chicago Turabian so that you'll have idea what are the other forms or what are the other citation styles in research. But in our case, we usually use APA, right? Research ethics, why proper citation matters. Right. All researchers must always observe proper research conduct and ethics, especially when citing and crediting the source of literature used in their study. So it's one of the fundamental rules that we need to follow when it comes to um, conducting a research. There should be um, policies, rules, and guidelines that we need to follow, which can be fall in the ethics. So um, when it comes to writing our references, citations, there are rules that we should consider. Okay, the primary function of citations and references is to help readers in locating a publication. Citations allow readers to distinguish your original work from the work and ideas of others. So these are the two primary purposes why citations and references are important. First is if you're a reader, it's easier for you to locate the secondary references or the sources of the research article that they use for the research. So it's easier for us to locate the publications. So you can see that in the references. And then to distinguish your original work from the work and ideas of others. So as what we discussed in our review of related literature, we need to consider the works of other authors or experts of the topics that you want to conduct or you want to investigate. Thus, you need their statements, their studies, the works that they publish about the topic that you want to investigate. So it's very important that you need to cite them. You need to credit them because that's their what do you call that? That's their intellectual property. That's why it's very important to credit them. Okay, researchers must properly acknowledge the ideas and work of cited authors through proper citation. So through proper citation, we can properly recognize, acknowledge, or credit the work of authors that we use in our own research. The citation and references may be seen in the main text, the footnotes, endnotes, and in the bibliography or references section of most research. So most of the research articles, published research articles, they use references. Itong bibliography, medyo ano na to siya, hindi naman sa outdated, pero um, commonly used na talaga yung references compared with bibliography. Ito naman, footnotes or endnotes, if you try to read a research article and every page may makita kayo na sa end sa page, parang sa footer, halimbawa sa footer, if you see the names of the authors and then the pages, the year, and the title of the work that the author of the article cited. So makita ninyo. If you go to Wikipedia, if you notice may mga numbers. So if you click that one, it will direct you to the reference of that specific line. So it's the same thing sa mga research article. If may makita kayo number, meron kasi there are other articles that use that style, yung may numbering. And then you just have to locate the number doon sa references kung sino yung main author ng specific line. Ito mga footnotes, for example, yung sa ESV na Bible version, standard English standard version ng Bible, you can see footnotes every page. Yung parang merong emphasis of meaning doon sa important terms or words na nandun sa specific page. So that's a footnote. Okay, plagiarism and its various forms. So this is the main or one of the prominently committed crime in writing writing research articles on plagiarism. Plagiarism is an act that is separate from the intent of the person who commits it, which means that even if it's not your intention to commit plagiarism, but still that action is considered as plagiarism, you are still, you're still guilty of committing such crime. Even if it's not your intention, if you have no purpose to plagiarize the work of other authors, if you commit it, then you are guilty of it, even if it's not your intention. Okay, plagiarism is one of the most common forms of intellectual dishonesty in research. So it's called intellectual dishonesty. It's because what you plagiarize, what you copied, is an intellectual property of other people. So, which means that it's not yours. It's not your original work. Thus, you need to credit those persons that you cited in your research na ginamit mo. Kailangan mo silang i-credit. Okay. In the age of information, students and researchers alike routinely copy and paste materials from online sources and use them without proper attribution or citation. Okay, so although technology contributed a lot in the advancement we experience right now, though there are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of advantages because it's easier for us to conduct such kind of activity, itong research. It's easier for us to search for sources, for related literature, mga references, mas madali para sa atin. But the thing is, meron din siyang disadvantage. Yung convenience that we experience has disadvantages because we we tend to abuse the things that the technology can do for us. Okay, the act of Say plagiarism, the act of knowingly using others' work and passing it off as your own, according to Hart. So, which means that another form of plagiarism is that you use the other works of the authors and treat them as your own. Meaning, magiangko nimo na imuha, even though it's not yours. Another one, appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, or souls or words without giving them appropriate credit, according to Israel and Hay. Even though you did not directly claim the works of the other authors as your own, but the thing is, you did not properly credit them, it's still a form of plagiarism. Even though within yourself, you're not claiming the works of the other authors as your own, but the thing is you failed to properly cite them and give them credit of their work. Still plagiarism. Okay, so these are the four different forms of plagiarism. We have cut and paste plagiarism, misattribution plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, and self plagiarism. Okay, let's discuss first copy and paste plagiarism. Okay, when we say copy and paste plagiarism, taking phrases, sentences, or paragraphs from a source, it could be book, article, website, excuse me, etc. Submitting others' work as your own without citing the source, and not using quotations and citing your source. So basically, when we say copy and paste plagiarism, you copy the works of other authors in verbatim, meaning word by word. Everything that is written by other authors, you copied it word by word. Okay, halimbawa, so this is the original version, the correct version. The future will not see any increase in the catches of wild fish. The reality is that 1/3 of all ocean fish stocks have already collapsed. So, plagiarized version naman, ito, it's word by word. The future will not see any increase in the catches of wild fish. The reality is that 1/3 of all ocean fish stocks have already collapsed. So everything is being copied without properly credited or cited the author. So you have to avoid that. This was copied word for word, text from the original source material. No credit was given to the author of the text and quotation marks were not used. Also, the student did not provide the full in-text citation and reference. So, the problem with this one is that first, hindi na-cite yung author. Second, hindi na-provide ng reference. Since word by word ito, it's really fine if you use every word doon sa original version, but you have to use proper quotation marks. So proper quotation marks is an indication that you directly quote the work of an author. Meaning wala kang binago. You did not reconstruct the original form of the text. The next one is mosaic plagiarism or patchwork plagiarism. Patchwork plagiarism, also known as mosaic plagiarism or incremental plagiarism, is similar to paraphrasing. It is when you copy and paste together pieces of different text to create a new text. This includes rewording pieces of source material while keeping the structure of the original text. Yung mosaic plagiarism naman, you just paraphrase. Although there's nothing wrong with paraphrasing as long as you properly credited the main author of the text. But in mosaic plagiarism, you did not properly credit the author of the main text or the original text, but you only paraphrased it in making it as your own. But the thing is, it's not just you did not use a single reference, but you use different texts from different authors, then you combined it. You combine them, and then you treated them as your own. Parang sa iyo na. Nagkuha ka na kay lima ka authors, nag-cite. I-paraphrase lang nimo, you did not properly credited these authors. And then you write it as your own. To halimbawa, in ages which have no record, these islands were the home of millions of contrast the condition into which all these friendly Indians are suddenly plunged now. With their condition only 2 years previous, martial law now in force on all their reservations, themselves in danger of starvation and constantly exposed to the influence of emissaries from their friends and relations, urging them to join in fighting this treacherous government that had kept faith with nobody, neither with friend nor with foe. So itong student writer B, ito yung copied version niya. So in order to avoid mosaic plagiarism, remember yung sa lesson natin sa review of printed literature, um, one of the one of the principles that you can use when it comes to writing review of related literature is through meta-analysis, meaning you gather the works of different authors with the same expertise, and then you credited them in ano yung itsura niya. Oh. Okay, I'm going to show you. Mm, wait lang nga mangita ko. Kini. So this one, this is an example of meta-analysis. So as you can see, in the in-text citation, maraming authors. So it could be uh, there are two possible reasons kung bakit maraming authors sa isang citation. Either ito sila mga na researchers, ginamit uh, ito na source sa kanilang research article na sinulat, and then parang second or secondary reference lang nila. Meaning halimbawa ito si Yang and Liu, nakita niya itong na statement sa article ni Sharma noong 2006. So possible, ganun. Second possible reason is that the author of this article, halimbawa ito si Fallon, he gathered the different works of these authors and then he summarized it in one sentence. Kaya tawag is meta-analysis. So that's one way on how to avoid mosaic plagiarism. Next is misattribution plagiarism. Okay, it involves attributing an excerpt quote or an idea to the wrong author or the incorrect source, or worse, a non-existent source. So misattribution may be accidental or intentional. So misattribution plagiarism, it could be meron kang ginamit na statement sa research article mo or sa research paper mo, and then you cited the wrong author. Pwede rin siya that you use the correct author, but the statement is incorrect or wrong. So, or vice versa siya. So, ganyan yung misattribution plagiarism. Um, Even though if it's not your intention to misattribute the sources or references in your research, but still you are guilty of committing plagiarism. Whether intention mo or accidental siya. Next is we have self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is commonly described as recycling or reusing one's own specific words from previously published text. While it doesn't cross the line of true theft of others' ideas, it nonetheless can create issues in a scholarly publishing world. Beyond verbatim sections of text, self-plagiarism can also refer to the publication of identical papers in two places, sometimes called duplicate publication. Moreover, it is best described to cite your previous work thoroughly, even if you're simply revisiting an old idea or a previously published observation. Ito namang self-plagiarism, if you already publish a work uh, sa isang publication, and then you conduct a research, another research, and then you use your own words dun sa previous mo na na-publish na article without properly citing your own work. Rag, you treated it as a new idea, even if you already um, provided or published such idea doon sa previous publication. So although you're committing a theft on yourself, so ang tawag doon, para mo kag mangawat, dili ka kawatan, but here in the principle of, kasi principle sa research, magka-problema siya, it's because duha ka publications ang imuhang there are two publications which have the same ideas of yours, and you did not properly credited the first one. Although wala ka nangawat, it's because that's your own man, kaugalingon man nimo. But the thing is, magka-problema sa publications. It's because madoble-doble ang imong ideas. So that's self-plagiarism. Okay, so citation styles. Okay, citation styles are very important because this is the way on how you're going to avoid committing plagiarism. Okay, what is a citation in a citation style? A citation is a way of giving credit to individuals for their creative and intellectual works that you utilize to support your research. It can also be used to locate particular sources and combat plagiarism. Typically, a citation can include the author's name, date, location of the publishing company, journal title, or DOI or digital object identifier. Tong citation, this is the way that you can use in order to avoid to commit plagiarism. Kasi in writing a research, as what I've always mentioned, you need the works of the other authors or experts in order to validate your study. Thus, you need to properly credit them. It's because that's their intellectual property that you are using in your research. So it's very important citation. But citation has many styles. Citation style dictates the information necessary for a citation and how the information is ordered, as well as punctuation and other formatting. Itong citation style, it refers to the technicalities in writing. So what are the important details that you need to write, to consider or include in writing such? So there are three most commonly used citation style. Itong APA or American Psychological Association, MLA or Modern Language Association, at saka Chicago or Turabian style. Itong APA is used by education, psychology, and sciences. MLA naman used by the humanities. Itong Chicago or Turabian, generally used by business, history, and the fine arts. So, merong specific field na commonly used itong citation style, each citation style. First is APA. AP or American Psychological Association style originated in 1929 when a group of psychologists, anthropologists, and business managers convened and sought to establish a simple set of procedures or style rules that would codify the many components of scientific writing to increase the ease of reading comprehension. Itong APA style, basically, one of the main purposes why experts created this style is for convenience. It's easier for them to locate the references kung merong proper structure or proper system na gagamitin when it comes to writing citations. Okay, in-text citation with APA. Okay, the APA style calls for three kinds of information to be included in text citation. The author's last name and the work's date of publication must always appear, and these items must match exactly their corresponding entry in the references list. The third kind of information, the page number, appears only in a citation to a direct quotation. Itong in-text citation sa APA, ito halimbawa ito si Crocat 1995, naka-include siya with parentheses. The surname of the author and the year that the work is being published. So, kailan na-publish yung work? Kaya halimbawa, this study is anchored on the software design strategies of Neyman. This theory proposes addictive software design strategies based on psychology, and their applications in popular software products. Wait, no, it's not in text. May text there. Okay, ito. To maximize user retention, infinite scrolling has been used by most social media platforms such as Facebook, used by the wall or timeline of the user. Ito, naka-parenthesis si Neyman. Neyman 2017. So this is an example of in-text citation. Naka-parenthesis. First is the statement that you cited and then the author of that statement. Naka-parenthesis siya with the year kung kailan na-publish. So dapat coincide siya sa inyong references. Since 2017 ito na-publish, pagdating sa references, kailangan inline siya. 2017 dapat. Kung ara. Neyman, si 2017. Ito. You also have direct quote from the text. So direct quote, meaning you're going to use direct quotation marks that signify that you directly quoted or used the works of other authors. Halimbawa ito, naka-quotation siya. Tapos, yung author. Pwede rin siya na ganito, pagkasulat. Hindi siya in text. Sana yun. Ito, halimbawa, a study conducted by Neyman 2017 about a survey of addictive design revealed that the strong inclination of users where the usage of mobile phone applications can be found with the addictive design. So this is not an in-text citation, pero you can still use this kind of citation style. Hindi naka-open, naka-parenthesis yung name at saka year. Yung year lang. Next is we have MLA, or Modern Language Association Style for documentation, widely used in the humanities, especially in writing on language and literature. MLA style features brief parenthetical citations in a text keyed to alphabetical list of works cited that appears at the end of the work. Itong MLA, yung sa footnotes. Okay, anyway, we're not going to use MLA naman. Let's proceed na. Okay, next is Chicago style. Chicago is a documentation style that has been published by the Chicago University Press since 1906. This citation style incorporates rules of grammar and punctuation common in American English. Typically, Chicago style presents two basic documentation systems, the notes and bibliography, and author date. So, parang may similarity siya with MLA. At the end of the page, meron siyang notes or bibliography. Choosing between the two often depends on subject matter and the nature of sources cited, as each system is favored by different groups of scholars. So I'm going to show you how to write your references. Okay, halimbawa kung sa Google Scholar ka, okay, halimbawa, ito, topic about makita ang screen, guys. Cyberbullying. Halimbawa, cyberbullying. So, if you want to copy-paste na lang, para diretso na ang tawag dito, ang references, you click this one, makita niyo yung may quotation mark. Ito, you click that one, makita na nimo dire. Halimbawa, ito, APA, MLA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver. So, since APA tayo, pwede siya i-copy-paste na lang sa diretso. Wait lang akin.
Sir, nakamute ka, sir.
Mute today. Okay na? Audible na ko?
Yes, sir.
Makita ninyo ang ang screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pwede nyo i-copy paste sa pud na siya. I-copy tapos i-paste sa inyong document. Pero dapat naka proper ni siya, kay dapat naka-indent ni ang second line. Naka-indent dapat ng second line. Ano minaan? And other way of making or writing your references, makita niyo yung Word document.
Opo, sir.
Okay. At mo dire sa references. Kini application. And then insert citation. Then add new source. Okay, halimbawa, research article or journal article. I-click nyo lang sino yung author. Smith, PK, Madavi, J, Carvalho, M, Fisher, S, Russell S, and Tippett N. I-click niyo yung kining nakabot na show all bibliography fields. I-click na nimo, then makita nimo ng mga naka-asterisk na red. Then that's an indication that you need to fill in this information. Next is in title. Cyberbullying. Its nature and impact in secondary school pupils. Journal name. Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry. Year 2009. Pages 376 to 385. Sa pa. Muna lang na siya. Then you click OK. Buhata lang na ninyo, pwede sa separate document niyo buhaton. Tapos kung i-paste na ninyo, click niyo yung bibliography, and then click references. Magawas na siya. Mo ni siya. I suggest na mas gamiton ninyo siya kay kini manggod katong i-copy paste lang ninyo diretso. Ang format pag i-paste ninyo sa Word document na wala siya, pero pag kini ano ninyo i-encode ninyo diri sa Word one by one, mas dali pero depende sa inyo kung sa mag-work. Upload ko ipakita sa inyo wait lang Kini halimbawa, oni siya ang halimbawa na encode na ninyo tanang references ninyo, mo ni siya ni gawas. Mo ni tanang references na inyong gi-encode. Pag run ninyo sa inyong information na gi-encode, mo na manggawas na siya tanan. Mo ni siya. Pero nga yung form. Pwede siya i-copy-paste sa laing document. And then, by the way, nakalimot ko discuss tong sa research introduction. Makita ninyo ang sample na research ka PDF.
Opo, sir.
Okay. So sa background of the study, nag-discuss ta about sa moves or steps on how to write research introduction. So I forgot to discuss this one. Sa first part, you need to contextualize. Makita ninyo. Anyway, I already posted samples of research man sa Schoology Dugay na. You need to contextualize what's your observation. Then you can also include definition of the topic that you want to discuss in paper. Tapos, dili sa research introduction, it's very important that you need to provide 3 related studies. International, national, at saka local. Halimbawa ito. This is an international study. A study conducted by Neyman about a survey of addictive design revealed, so on and so forth. Tapos, ito naman. Kapag walang makitang local or national, it's fine if you only cited 3 you cited 3 international studies, but I'm confident na meron kayong makita na na national. Other studies walang local. It's fine. Gagawin niyo na lang is isang international at saka 2 local. Or kung walang masyadong isang international at saka 2 national. When you say kung gamay lang ang national studies na yung makita, pwede 2 ka or wala kayo, pwede 2 ka international o isa ka national. Ana. Then there is a last part. It's like the summary of your methodology sa inyong The studies mentioned previously are evidence that software can create a degree of influence towards the users and should your great attention can contribute to their addiction towards software use. You need to rationalize why it's important that you need to conduct the study. And then you state your objective, the research design. Anyway, I already provide you what research design that you need to use for your study. Tsaka yung theoretical framework ninyo already provide. And then ito yung possible what's the possible use of your research? Last part. Yun lang. Okay, do you have questions, clarifications about our discussion or about your research? Kung meron kayong gusto i-clarify, meron kayong concerns? Wala. Klaro na sa inyo ha. Okay, kung dili makasubmit karong Saturday sa inyong introduction, as much as possible, masubmit niyo by Monday para basahon na ako whole week. And para makaproceed po mo sa methodology ninyo. Okay na ta?
Sir.
Yes.
Ato ganing last meeting kato kung gingon nimo about sa amo nga tong marketer nakalimot ko unsa to sa title man ato namo.
Ay kato, dili na
Opo,
lang mo
sir.
kay sa inyo ang outline na akong nabutang kay digital brand manggod to, di ba? Mo
Gani sir niya lisod kay pangkataan.
Oo. pag ano nila mo, digital marketers na lang, it's because na ako makaila.
Mo lang among ibutang sir nga initial title na mo digital marketer.
Ah,
Okay sir, thank you.
wala lang. Dili na mo mag-digital brand sa digital brand. Still, ang topic nini is digital marketing objectives, pero digital marketers na iniwan. Okay na ta?
Okay sir, thank you.
Wala na ilang pangutana. If no more questions, I think that's the end of our discussion. It's a wrap. Wala na, I'm going to end the conference na. Bye, guys.
Bye sir, thank you.
Bye, sir.